podcast night here at Baxter's 942 in the Highlands. It's also their service industry Tuesday nights. It is my home away from home. It's where I do all of my podcast recordings. I have guys who cook up some badass meals walking through the video as well. But it's all good. My man Derek, what's up with you, bro?
No, man, not much. Just what do you want to talk about? I got so much.
We're going to talk about any and everything. We got basically close to an hour's worth of conversation. My gut tells me this might be part one of a few.
Hopefully.
With a lot of my guests right now, when I get people to come on, I find a lot of them through Facebook, through my newsfeed. And you and I have been friends on Facebook, I don't know how long, but for whatever reason we've connected, and we've stayed connected based on your content, which I love. Oh, yeah. You're a comedian?
Yes.
Acting?
Yes.
Bodybuilding? I mean, what's yeah.
So I
Well, let's go. All right. After you were born in the manger, you got out of the manger.
Right.
Give us born and raised in Louisville?
No, I'm from Wichita, Kansas.
Oh, well, okay.
And I know what people think. They're like, that's like the Vegas of the Midwest. It's not.
I know.
It's not. And actually, grew up in a small town. Everybody knows Wichita, Kansas, but I was actually not a small town.
No, the university. It's like the university. Is it a college town? Because Wichita State.
There's Wichita State there. Yeah.
So is it more of a college town or not? Or
sort of. Wichita would be kind of like a Lexington, less like a Louisville type area. Okay. And I was born like a smaller kind of, almost a hillbilly area. And so we grew up super poor. My dad would he'd mow lawns, and there was four of us. I was the baby of three older sisters, which essentially meant that like they could kick my ass and I couldn't fight back because my dad was like, you can't hit girls. And then
that whole old school mentality.
Yeah, I used to kick my ass, and so I was like, man, this is life right now. But that's why I'm really sensitive to women right now, because I understand women so well. It's so easy for me to talk to them.
There you go.
So my dad, he would mow lawns and stuff to try to help us pay for shit. And then he took off and was like, I'm gonna go make a better life. And he went and started this company and moved me to Kentucky because I was getting in so much trouble out there fighting because I couldn't fight my sister, so I'd fight everybody else.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was.
What kind of fighting? Like, were you the aggressor?
I had a mouth.
Yeah.
Oh my! I had the worst mouth, and I would go to and being that young, like I would try.
Tell me how old were you? Give me an age.
This would have been about 7 or 8, and I 7 or 8.
You're beating up kids at 7 or 8.
I wasn't beating them up; I was losing because they were older. No. So I had my sisters are I don't know if you can tell, but like a smaller, prettier version of me. Like my sisters are very, very pretty young ladies, and so they were popular. And then the guys would want to hang out with them, and I tried to be like, don't talk to my older sister, and I would get into fights all the time, and I got bullied a little bit, and so I would always get into fights. And then when I got older, I got bigger. I'm the same size now as I was when I was 14.
For real?
Yeah, I was huge. Yeah, I played varsity football when I was in 8th grade.
Muscular wise too, and all this, or did
not as muscular as I am now. Okay. I was a big boy, and then so then my dad moves me here to Louisville, Kentucky. And so naturally, I started like wrestling and things like that. And then I won the state tournament for wrestling in Kentucky, which is cool.
In high school.
In high school, yeah.
Where'd you go to high school?
Eastern High School.
Eastern, okay.
Yeah, Eastern High School, which was, and this is kind of ridiculous. So I didn't school well. I didn't do school very well. I didn't like it very much, but I still got scholarship money to go wrestle, which is kind of a weird thing. That's how it goes. And I went to a Southern Baptist University, which was Campbellsville University. And the funny thing about Campbellsville, going like a Southern Baptist.
Southern Baptist, huh?
I didn't belong. And I'll tell you this, it's funny because...
Was there, why'd you, there wasn't a wrestling team there, was it? Was it because?
It was their first year, and the coach recruited me from...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, recruited me to go to that.
Fighting for Jesus.
That's what it was. It's the type of school that you go to and they're like 2 + 2 = 4 unless Jesus says it's not. Right. And you're like, oh, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. And you would think that a university that preaches forgiveness so much would be that way towards loan forgiveness. That doesn't happen. No.
There's still a business even in anyways, but yeah.
No, exactly. It's still a business. But what was great about it is that if you got caught having girls in your dorm room or having alcohol, they would charge you $100 per offense.
So how much did you have to cough up? Because alcohol and chicks.
Yeah. They sent it to my dad. They sent him the invoice. It was $1,000 the first semester that they caught.
So 10 offenses, right?
Offenses, yeah. 10 times I got caught.
Yeah.
And I like to think that I got caught maybe less than 10% of the time. But they would send the invoice to my dad, and he was like, "What is this?" I go, "Oh, that's just books." He's like, "I thought school was getting paid for." No, this is extra.
Yeah.
Extra stuff. But they didn't list out the offenses. They didn't send it to
Oh,
my
they
dad.
really?
No,
They didn't even say that this was some type of discipline. It was just a bill?
One line item. That's how they do it, though. It's like, because I think they're more than happy to couple like the offenses in with maybe like extra eating or something like that they would do.
So you get hit with this disciplinary fines.
Yes.
And dad, the parent, whatever, is paying for these, not knowing what it's.
No. And my dad is, he's very religious. He still actually travels and does mission trips to other countries.
Okay. So was he a big reason why you wound up going to Kansas?
No, he didn't. He wasn't. He didn't push.
Okay.
He wasn't.
Okay.
He was very, like even today. He's like, hey, he's like, are you going to church? And I go to, when he comes to town, I go to church with him. But other than that, I don't spend a lot of time doing that.
So is he still in Kansas?
No, he moved here. He's great. He moved to Louisville with me, and then he still traveled a lot. So I basically like, the reason why I didn't do school so well in high school is because he would travel a lot to different places, and so he wasn't there to be like, hey, go to school very much. And he was always working his way to the East Coast, where he lives now in Orangeburg, South Carolina. But he lived in Charleston on the beach for a while, and so he always made his way to the East Coast.
Orangeburg, South Carolina?
It is the 10th poorest county in the U.S.
Sounds very...
He has the biggest house and the only gym is in his backyard.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's he always wanted to make his way out there. He married a Southern Baptist woman. Her name's Kim. She's fantastic.
Is it Bible thumping territory out there?
It is.
Okay.
It is. It is very much. But every time I would go out there, it was very like Southern hospitality over anything else. Do you have enough fried chicken? Do you do you have enough of this stuff? And nobody ever made me feel.
Now, did the neighbors, when you show up then or to this day, do they whisper, the Antichrist?
No, I don't. I'll be honest. I don't actually know who my parents' neighbors are. I've never met them.
Is it because of just distance?
It is. There's a little bit of distance in there, but I don't get to see my dad that often. So we really hang out. He takes us out to eat, and then of course the beach isn't that far away. So then my girlfriend and I we always head out to the beach. And so
current girlfriend or just
current? Yeah,
okay.
I've been with the same girl for 7 years.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's been incredible. I was married at one point, and so which is a whole other story, in and of itself. But I got married young. Like I went to college.
Can I ask how old are you? No.
35.
Okay.
Yeah. I got to change my acting resume. Oh, shit.
IMDb. Do you have to update that?
I got to update it now. I heard it. Shit.
I could cut that out.
Make me sound younger, but like use like a sultry voice. Kind of like a Brad Pitt. Like,
It does.
Like, hey, 30.
Yeah, I mean, you said 30. You meant 25.
Oh gosh, I don't know. Now it's pushing. I'll see an acting gig that says 25, and I'll be like, I can try.
You can pass for younger than 35 for sure.
I fucking love you. Thank you. This has been so fun.
Yeah, so I'm just saying.
I like being on the side of you just with the compliments. This is great. I love this already. Can we?
So I'm. I could technically, because when do you turn 35?
December.
So you'll be 36 this year.
Yes.
In theory, I could be your dad. Just saying.
How so? In theory?
Well, I'm 51, so I'll be 52. What's today? 6. I'll be.
You set that up.
Next, I can say now. Next Tuesday, I'll be the birthday night here.
You set that up because you know you don't look that old.
Well, no, I know I don't.
You
I'm not
set that up.
sure as hell don't act it.
Good.
Yeah,
that's good. No, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, but I'm one that likes to get out. I've got a lot of music friends. I got a lot of people that like to get out. I do. I truly enjoy the nightlife. If I can pay for it the next day, I mean, I do feel it.
Next few days.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, back to you.
Oh, okay.
So you were talking. Your dad's there in South Carolina. You and your significant other.
Yeah.
Who, she looks amazing as well.
Way out of my league. Way out of my league.
No, don't say that.
She is way out of my league.
But
don't tell her that. But she is way out of my league.
You all probably get to go to the the beach and get a lot of double takes.
Mostly her. Like even the girls. It's ridiculous. It's most of the time people.
Well, that's the ultimate compliment. You know that.
Oh yeah, it is because there's this running joke where like guys will say, when I was younger, I would see like an attractive girl with like a guy that I would consider not attractive, and I would be like, why is she with that guy? And now I don't pull at that thread. I don't do that I don't pull at that thread now, and I see why.
Stop selling yourself short.
That's the thing, though, is I'm not self-deprecating.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of myself.
Okay. Because that's my other thing too. Because that totally goes against how I think I know you.
Oh, I only jerk off to pictures of me jerking off. That's the only thing that I do.
Exactly it.
That just says more about how much I think of my significant other.
There you go. You brought it home. I like it. All right, so where are we at now?
Leaving college.
Leaving college.
Yeah.
You're a collegiate wrestler. Mm-hmm. Did you have aspirations of becoming a pro wrestler?
MMA. I went into MMA.
The real stuff.
Now, don't say that because people. Yeah.
No, yeah, because the truth is, I'm a pro wrestling fan.
Yeah.
I get it. I know what it is. I know the work right now.
Of all time.
Of all time, greatest performer arguably is Ric Flair. Favorite characters, really great performers, The Rock, Austin, Shawn Michaels, those guys are great performers.
All right, how about this? Favorite finishing move?
Not that freaking leg drop that Hogan did. Not that. I'll tell you one of my favorite. It was because it was beautiful. I forgot to name him. Randy Savage, Macho Man Randy Savage, was another one of my favorite. That flying elbow. I want finishing moves that look legit, and that's the other thing too. You're in MMA. You mentioned MMA.
Yep.
I love Brock Lesnar. I'm a Brock Lesnar fan. He is one of the badass guys. But he made, with him in WWE, he makes. Actually, I think he's done. He just lost in that WrestleMania. So I think he's now finished with his whatever. But he made every match look real. That's where I kind of struggle with the storylines and how they're all going. It just became so corny, and I'm not as interested now. But anyways, so MMA for you,
right? So MMA.
You want to mess up that face?
That people say that, and I say the point was not to get hit, and I thought
that is the point. That is the objective now.
And I was doing it. So when I started doing MMA, it was easy to come in with a wrestling pedigree and just put guys down.
Oh yeah,
and beat a hole in their face.
So you're more Matt.
I did that because it was easier. I trained stand up, but it was just always like once you get hit in an MMA fight, all the nerves go away. Like it's fine. It's like this is normal. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to put people on their back and wear them out, and then they just stayed there, and I just didn't let them up for the most part. Right. There was one fight. This was really great. Is they brought a guy in. He was the current king of the cage champion. He was like 19-2, with like 17 knockouts.
So you were actively involved in MMA?
Oh yeah, I fought for 10 years. Yeah.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
So you still or done?
No. Now I'm. If I could fight again, I would. My time is the training was like it is. You can't do anything else.
I've heard brutal. Now that CM Punk, you familiar with him?
Yes.
I'm a huge CM Punk guy wrestling.
Yeah.
No business in the octagon.
It's a totally different world.
But to his credit, he gave it a shot. Because his he wanted to do it. Should he? No.
There's an element of MMA that it's not as big as pro wrestling. Pro wrestling is much bigger than UFC. Ultimately, it is. Everything they do is much more. Like they have all their streaming videos. Vince McMahon is a genius.
Oh, totally.
And the fact that they can keep their wrestlers on the roster with MMA, the turnover's quick.
Yeah.
And so they use those guys up, and so they have to the thing is that CM Punk never earned that shot, and he didn't have the talent.
It was named
to do that. Right.
It was his.
That's fine. Good for you. And I like the idea that his name brought in people that.
But that's not his fault. That wasn't his fault, though.
No, I'm not faulting him.
Yeah.
It's that there's guys on the.
That's on Dana White, right?
All this is on Dana.
Yeah.
Dana White said this. This is the other thing. Is Dana White said women will never ever fight in MMA in the UFC.
Well,
and they are the biggest draw. They're
right.
huge. They're better fighters than the guys. They're tougher. Yeah. And it's like people forget he said that. Now he's like, I did this. Fuck off, man. Yeah. Fuck off. Fuck Dana White. Yeah. That guy's.
But at the same time too, you say that, and look who was part of who headlined WWE's main event, Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
That was what's her background, and 5 years ago in WWE, the storylines and all this, you had bikini matches. Now you got athletic people, females, and they're killing it there. But she added a whole dynamic too.
She did, and she wasn't even. They wanted her to be. They wanted to put her up on a poster and to be that, and so they didn't feed her a lot of tough fighters. The rosters got deeper, and she got beat quick. Now I'm not taking that away from her. That's. She put in the work and she won those matches.
Holly
Holm.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
Holly Holm was and Holly Holm.
And that was out of nowhere because Ronda was, badass. I mean,
she was fighting. She wasn't fighting people like Holly Holm. Holly Holm was a boxing and kickboxing world champion.
Before that, that fight, that outcome did not surprise you.
No,
you really thought you thought Holly was.
Oh, she was going to crush her. Oh, so here's the.
That's where I didn't know.
The biggest tell is that Ronda was always relaxed and smiling when she did her square off with Holly Holm. She got in her face and shoved her. It's very out of character. She was nervous because Holly Holm was legit. She was a boxing world champion and a kickboxing world champion. Holly Holm was the first fighter that she fought that had been at a world level, world stage level. And Amanda Nunes, who beat her in 40 seconds, had more of a pedigree than Holly Holm. Yeah. But I'll be honest. So I don't want to take anything away from any. I love it. I love watching that. I love watching the athletes do that. And it's what were they supposed to do? Not take those fights and make that money? Of course they were.
Of course.
And it progresses the sport forward. So I'm a fan of all combat sports in that sense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just wish that some of the I've got people. There are people here in Louisville who are fantastic fighters. Really? Amazing fighters, world level fighters. They could be world champions, and they fight other tough guys, and their records don't look as great.
Right.
But there was a guy in Alabama who fought. You looked at his record. He fought the same guy 3 times, and then another guy 3 times, and it looked like his record was 6-0. He beat the same 2 guys twice, and then went to the UFC and got slaughtered. Yeah. And that's how it goes. And so guys tough guys around here will fight each other. Other tough guys, and their records don't look as good. But
that's an interesting point because it's even with the UFC. Well, like any, WWE, they have their developmental. What is it?
They got that Dana White show that they pull fighters in.
Yeah, well, that's what I guess. That's what it is. Does UFC have that kind of developmental type of territory or organization that they're grooming the next?
It's all the amateur leagues. We have one here called Hard Rock, which is a big one.
But are UFC noticing? Is there some type of pipeline?
There is a pipeline that has more to do with opportunities.
Okay.
If a really good fighter has an injury, they'll pull somebody in local. Mm-hmm. So if they have a fight they have the UFC in Louisville, they had some Louisville fighters on because they need to sell tickets on the lower cards for those people that maybe don't know anything about UFC, but they want to come see local favorites. And
that's right. They had that. What was last year? Was it last?
I forgot. It's after once I got out of it, I just went full on everything else. Yeah. It's been a little bit.
That's right. They did have it. So, and that would make sense that they would have some local people on the card
to sell those tickets. Yeah,
of course. Yeah. So you're out. This was a 10-year run.
Yes.
And I don't see anything lingering.
No.
Your nose looks straight. Yeah, no scars, visible scars.
No,
visible.
No. I did get cut above the eyebrow. I got sliced open on live TV, recorded TV. It was not live TV; it was recorded TV. And then it was on like HD net, and I got cut. I was bleeding all over the place. But no, other than that, like there's no scars, which is.
There is video of you on HD net, really?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. My dad recorded it, and he has. If people come over, he shows it to him. Yeah. So after that, it was like, and what's funny is I actually I got married young, and this blows people's mind when I say this. I don't remember the exact age I got married. I don't even remember the church where I got married. I was here in Louisville. It's one of those.
Why?
Here's why. It's, okay. So you meet somebody, and like I was wild. I slept on a futon in my friend's closet. That's where I slept. So he had this walk-in closet, and I didn't have any money. You don't have any money when you're fighting. And so he had a futon in this walk-in closet, and if it unfolded, you couldn't walk even in the closet. Like, right. So that's where I slept. That's where I lived. And so you can imagine, like, you're fighting, and you're, like, living that life, and then you're meeting girls, and you're like, hey, I've got this, they're like, the bedroom, no, it's this futon in the closet.
No, even more romantic.
Yeah, even more. The lights are low, and they don't even exist. Yeah. In fact, that's how romantic I am. They're not even there. And so there was like this screening process essentially that was like, if you could deal with that shit and that lifestyle, then you could hang around. Yeah. And so I ended up, and the girl I married, she had like a strong Catholic family, and everybody's like, go get married, and have kids and do that shit. And I was like, all right, everybody's saying it must be true. I get married and I'm like, I don't want to have kids. I don't want to be married and tied down. I don't want to mow yards. I don't want to be like doing home shit. I don't want to do like the same fucking party, right, every fucking time. And it was not a nice breakup. In retrospect, though, the cool thing about like having a platform now to talk is I can actually like use that and say, I was kind of a dick about it. Not like I wasn't mean or abusive or anything like that, but it was very much like, I'm out. Game, I'm out. Let's get the fuck out of here. And so it wasn't nice because I didn't do it the right way. Right. I didn't like. I wasn't. It was very hard for me to say. I want to go try new things in the world. I want to be on a stage. I want to be in front of a camera. I want to do these things. I want to fight in a cage. And people don't understand that. Right. Like, well, no, you got to get married and all this shit. So I ended up getting out of that shit. But I gained.
How long did that last?
We were married and divorced in less than a year. Had a house and everything, and had a house that had a movie theater in the basement. How cool is that?
Very cool.
Yeah, I was like playing Xbox on it, just super sad.
Of course, that's what you do with a movie theater in the house. You play your Xbox.
But I don't. That's the thing is I don't necessarily enjoy doing that. Like I like being out socializing and doing projects and shit like that. So it was funny that I had gained weight. I wasn't athletic at all, and I was like, this sucks, man. So I met. So I got out of that, and then I met my current girlfriend, and she's a professional bodybuilder, and she was like, helped me get back into shape, and was like, what do you want to do with your life? And the best part about that is nobody fucking ever asked me that. Nobody ever was like, what do you want to do? And the answer that came out was like, I want to perform in some way. And then so you had John Wells on here. I'm saying people's names hoping that I'm not like cussing up a storm and all this other shit.
He's pretty cool.
Dude, John's great. Yeah. He was, so the funny thing, do you mind if I tell a quick story about John?
Yeah.
Okay. So my girlfriend asked me, she was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to act and perform, and I want to perform in some capacity. I like being in front of an audience. I like the attention. So she scheduled some time to meet with John Wells because she knew him as an actor. And so my first experience.
Was she into acting? Or just
no. She's got a big network. That's right. And she's big in the creative community.
She would be a great guest on here, wouldn't she?
She'd be better than me. I'm telling you, like she crushes shit.
We'll cross it, yeah.
And so my first interaction with a real actor was John Wells. And so we walk into Thoughtfly Studio, and there he is.
Brian Cunningham. Right?
Yeah. And so I walk in, and here he's sitting there. He has like long black hair, just like handsome as shit.
He's a damn good looking guy.
Right? And I walk in and I'm like, shit. I was like, is that what you have to look like to be an actor? I was like, he's striking.
Yeah.
And he was so incredibly nice because you know how like vulnerable it is to try something new.
Yeah.
And he was so nice that he was just like talking to me about acting. We read some lines, and I'm reading lines with this person and like trying to act, and it's very like, and I ended up getting some acting lessons from him. And one of the funniest ones is that we like sit in a dark room together, and he was like, all right, we're gonna do a method to cry. And I was like, ah, shit. It was just him and I, and he like, okay, here I am, just like still in my shell, not ready to be vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And he gave me this really cool method to kind of work through that. Mm-hmm. And I still use that today, and it was great. But it was just funny that my first time, and now we're friends, and I'm a big fan of John's and everything. And
he made you cry, huh?
He made me cry, literally. Damn it. He helped me. But it was so cool that was my first go, because I could have had a very bad time. It could have been somebody that was like, I'm going to big boy you, especially in front of your girlfriend. I'm going to make you, I'm the shit, I'm going to make you feel bad. And he didn't do that, and it was great.
That's who he is, though. That's what he came on. I've had him on a few times, and the first time I had him as a guest, you're right. You look at him, and I've seen his movie. I mean, he's a very nice looking guy. And actually, the time he was on, I just expected a little bit of more, maybe a tad bit of some flamboyance, just kind of, no. I mean, this guy was as humbled as can be, just a genuinely good guy. It really kind of caught me off guard. I'm thinking, what can I do to press his buttons? But
well, that's that whole crew, because because of the One Must Fall movie and everything like that, is I got to go on set and watch it. So it's funny because people are like, "What are you doing with that project?"
Oh, you were actually on set? Were you?
Not at all. I'm not involved with the project at all. I'm just. I've seen it twice.
Okay.
Like that's how much I love this movie. I
can't wait to see it. Yeah. I haven't seen it yet.
Are you going?
No, I am going to go to the premiere. We've got to actually. I've got plans to and check this. I'm an Antonio guy too. The premiere that's happening in June.
Yeah.
I have offered to come out and do live streaming red carpet type pre-show interviews on Facebook. And we're going to work out those logistics, but I'm going to do that for him. And so everybody, you'll be one who just come up the red carpet and start talking.
That's awesome.
So Ryan Secret, whatever, but anyway.
So whoever, yeah. Ryan C guy.
Yeah.
That guy. It's funny because I had known Antonio before that. Yeah. Antonio used to film the MMA fights for Hard Rock. He used to do that. And he did a documentary on my girlfriend. It's he did it for free, and like this big. Did you hear about it? He talked about, okay. He does a documentary.
I tell you what, he talked about. I didn't know who, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's who it was. And so and actually Antonio's been like a big inspiration for like everything that I've been doing as far as this, like a big support system. He just did my headshots. He's fucking incredible.
Yeah, he is.
And his and him and his wife Jordan does some amazing things with film. Yeah. I'm telling you, Louisville.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Louisville right now, as far as like talent wise,
unbelievable,
right? It's unbelievable. When I got introduced to the community, I'd already known Antonio, but I'd never been like on that side of the camera before. And John kind of like brought me on set, and I got to watch John act. So I got to see real actors act. And then I know you talked with Julie Strebel as well, who won the Best Actress award
at the Horror Hound, the premiere.
Right. Yeah. I got to see all those.
Did you go up there for that?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we drove up there 2 hours just to watch it and just see the standing ovation, because I've never been to one.
Yeah.
And then Antonio got a standing ovation. And this is the best part. This was great. If anybody can imagine like a standing ovation, but then the director of the film tells everybody to be quiet because there's more. Like he didn't even want to take credit. He was like, "Hey, there's more," and then everybody was like, "Oh!" And then so you get two standing ovations, which was cool. And it's really cool to see Antonio do that.
It's genius when you could find a way to get two standing.
He didn't. I know he didn't want it. That was crazy. Just a humble, like that whole crew is humble, and I think that's why a lot of their success is coming through. Not just the writing, the creativity, but that crew. But that's so people are like, because shit's moving fast for me as far as like opportunities, way faster than it should be, because there's a lot more talented people that have more camera time than I have, and have had like really gone through the ringer. But I've been really lucky with opportunities, just working my fucking ass off. Right. But the level of people that I'm hanging around with like brings up to another level.
in most situations in life, it kind of knows. It's kind of who you know.
Yes,
we get that.
Right.
And truth is, there's nothing wrong with it if it's, if you're respecting it. Yeah.
Right.
Right. And you're doing it the right way. So
trying to. It's hard to like. I can't say give back because everybody's still like. So,
you're
like,
not in that position.
I'm still in the position.
Right,
I'm like, give me. I want more. Oh.
Well, you're getting ready to. You're going to give back to something for Antonio, and I'm going to share this with you in a little bit. Just hold. I think you'll be. Well, let me say that. So okay. So John, you're doing your interactions with Antonio, with John.
Yeah.
To be an actor.
Right.
Yeah.
To get in there and I'm actually I'm going to be in another film with I'm trying. I guess this will be the section where it's fucking name drop everybody, but it's there's a writer and filmmaker here also. His name's Mike Thompson.
He's scheduled to come on.
Mike, of course he is, dude.
Next month. Yeah.
Genius writer.
Yeah.
I'm going on Blackbird with him, and I had two.
Yeah, that's because of that, right?
Because of Blackbird.
Yeah.
I had two actors that I really wanted to work with in town. But they're like they're professional actors, just like John and everybody. It's Chris Petty and Sarah East. Sarah East of the audition room. And Mike was like, "Hey, we need a comedic role for this one part." And I was like, "What, me?" And so he knocked off. I actually have a screenshot of 13 weeks ago where I was like, "Man, Mike, it'd be cool to work with you," and I saved it. So Mike, he didn't know I did that. So I'm working with Mike Thompson on Blackbird. And then I get to work with Sarah East and Chris Petty, who were all on my bucket list in one fucking shot.
Cool.
Yeah, how fucking cool is that?
Very cool.
And Sarah actually helped me with improv for my stand-up comedy. And so I started comedy to get better in front of the camera. And comedy's like, I'll tell you this about comedians, because I'm not used to hanging out with comedians. Hanging out with comedians, it's fucking hard hanging out with other comedians. Because they just joke all the fucking time. Yeah. You're like, hey, I got something serious. And they're like, one-liner. And you're like, damn it, dude. And so, like, I got up on stage. I did my debut at the Comedy Caravan, which was, my girlfriend filmed it. And it went well.
You posted on Facebook, right? I think I have seen it.
And, it was my debut. And, of course, there's a lot that I did a lot of amateur mistakes. But, like, the confidence is like, I'm confident in my shit.
That did not look like a debut. You didn't come across as a debut to me.
I was so excited. I was laughing at myself and I couldn't stop. I kept because they only gave me 3 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
And it's hard to pack in like enough dick jokes in 3 minutes. You know, like I'm like dick joke and all this other shit. And it's so hard to pack that into 3 minutes and a storyline that they're like do one-liners. I fucking hate one-liners. I don't like one-liners. I like to build up and then the drop, like make it like that.
3 solid minutes.
That's 3 minutes is easy.
Yeah.
3 minutes is easy if you're telling stories.
Right.
It's not crisp.
Right.
But I can get a few jokes in there. But it's not like the other comedians that were like local, or they're not even local. They do shit all around the place. Right, yeah. Like they're like every 7 seconds, joke, and it keeps the audience going. Yeah. I like to build it up and drop, which is my style. But it's funny when you do something new. You have a lot of people that'll tell you, "Here's how you're supposed to do it." And it's like, no, this is my time on stage.
Right.
All right. And then they'll give you good feedback like, hey, don't wrap the cord around your arm. One time when I did stand-up, it was my first time having this like long cord. It looked like I was fishing. And I'm like, why does anybody like that joke? And I'm like, because I'm like, they're like, it looked ridiculous. Yeah. But Louisville comedy is fucking fantastic, man. I love comedy. I love being on the stage and just, ultimately, I started it to get better at acting. But ultimately, in my thought process is like when you can make like a crowd of people respond to you and you can work them, like once you get past that first like initial, here's who I am, because people judge the shit out of me.
Right.
Because look at me, like I walk on stage and they're like, this guy's not gonna be fucking funny. He's gonna talk about protein. He's gonna talk about lifting weights. And so I use that. And so like I did a show Tuesday, and I was like, I love comedy, but I hate the judgment. You know, I made a joke where I was like, I like to try new things in the bedroom. I like to try fucking while doing a handstand. And the crowd's like, I like fucking too. And they're with me. There's like one guy in the middle who's looking at me all skeptical. And he's like...
Trying to visualize this, right?
He did. He was like, you can't do a handstand. I was like, fuck you, man. You missed the joke. You know, like that's the guy that you take to like a fucking Star Wars movie and he's like, those spaceships aren't real.
Yeah.
They haven't invented laser shit.
That lightsaber shouldn't...
Yeah. And also... Mark Hamill can't do a handstand. Like, fuck you, dude. You know what I mean? Like, That's what's fun is like you get to work the room, and it doesn't matter if there's like one person, and that's what you have to look past.
Right. Yeah.
And it makes camera work. It actually doesn't make being on camera easier. I think comedy is stand up for me.
It is a. What's the best way to put it? I mean, clearly it's in art. It's a talent, but it's quick-witted. But you also, I mean, because you're not going to fucking hit a home run at your first at bat.
No.
Most comedians don't.
No.
So you got to take the. I mean, the crowd will let you know. I mean,
I've been lucky. I've been lucky that the crowd has responded well.
Good.
I think I catch them off guard.
That's good.
I think I catch them off guard, and there was one time. Okay, I did a show in Lexington, and the promoter was like, "You want to open? Just like be the first one out." I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's go!" I was excited, and the comedians that were there are really helpful. Like they're in the crowd, they're laughing with you because they don't want you to bomb, but a lot of them do because they want you to learn. It's better that way.
I can see that, right? Yeah.
And talking for 5 minutes into like a crowd that's not responding.
That's a long fucking time.
It's a very long time.
Yeah.
A lot of the people were responding close to me, but they were other comedians. I had friends there, and they helped. But there was one guy that was like had his arms crossed, and he was the only guy I couldn't look away from. And he was just staring at me. I knew he wasn't there to laugh.
Yeah.
I knew he wasn't there to laugh, and I kept locking eyes with him, and it made me rush my set a little bit.
Really?
But it was a great learning experience to be like that. It doesn't always go like 100%.
Right.
But I wanted that guy to crack a smile. He fucking didn't the whole time. Yeah. But then you get those in every crowd.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference is that I have not been the best comedian in the room. I have not been the best writer in the room, but I know how to work a room. I know how to like.
Are you writing all of your stuff?
Everything I write.
Totally.
Oh yeah, no. Actually, so my girlfriend, I write my material. I haven't repeated jokes yet. I haven't done the same set. Everybody says work on your set, and then hone that.
Right.
But what I want to do is I want to do new stuff every single time I get
Every
out there.
time.
Yeah.
So the stuff that you that you got you knew went over with the crowd. You're not keeping it for the next set.
I'm trying to build a half hour of material, and I'm trying to build it fast.
You are destined. You're looking at Netflix, right? That's your goal.
There are a lot. It's if I could.
not?
If I could. Oh no, yeah. It's no. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm not in this to be. I'm not in this for weekend treats. I'm in this to fucking go.
Right.
100%. But I know my form. I was telling somebody the formula that I have is this: go as fucking hard as I can, like no matter like fearless, but be helpful. And don't ask for fucking favors. Right. So I don't ask for any favors now. I'm not like asking for people to like give me time on spots. I'm like, how can I help? How can I be supportive? On Facebook, I'm sharing people's stuff that I think are really good comedians, and just being supportive. And that has done more so than like my talent. You know, I want people to like, because that's a lot of that. What it is, like I said, it's people who you know.
Exactly.
And so a lot of it is just making sure that other people know that I'm not trying to use them, because that's a sucky feeling. You know, when you go, when you try and you're fake and you're like, how can you get me to the next level? Like I hate that shit. So I'm taking my time in the sense that I'm trying to let people know that I'm not fake. Like trust me.
Gotcha.
You know, I'm just a happy motherfucker that likes to cuss and talk shit. And so that's actually been really helpful. So it is the goal is to hit like as fast as I can go, or as high as I can go, as fast as I can go.
When did you get the comedy bug that you knew that this is what you wanted to pursue? How long ago was that?
I would say 5 months ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
quick.
It sounds recent. Yeah.
It was. It was after.
I mean, what was that epiphany? What? Why?
Well, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go do stand up and try to get better in front of the crowd, because
You were like, honey, I'm tired of making you laugh. You're the only one. You're always laughing at my job. I want to make other people laugh too. Does she laugh? Does she laugh a lot? Does she laugh at your stuff?
I do my sets in front of her. Every set that I've done, this is actually will blow your mind. Maybe not. I build my set for the show that I'm gonna do that day. I write the jokes down usually about 4 or 5 hours before I go on stage, and I run them by Autumn. And she, my girlfriend, and she helps me. She'll like be like, that doesn't. This is fucking hilarious. She'll be like, that doesn't sound great. And so every set that I've done has been like the day of.
You trust her though.
I do trust her. But the best part is that she hates the word pussy. I say pussy a lot. I did a sound check with the word pussy. And actually, it got a great, like, the crowd was laughing. I was like, this is going to be fun because you guys like my sense of humor. But she hates that word. But she'll listen to it, and she'll be like, don't use it then, use it here. Because she'll be like, don't use the word pussy until it drops.
Right.
And so it's like vagina, different words. I have a notebook of different adjectives for dick, vagina, just fucking everything you think of, so that it lands at the right time. And I actually had built a set I was really proud of. It was a 10-minute set. And I was going to do it that day. I was doing it that day, that evening. And I kept talking about fucking states and geography. I don't know why. I don't know why. A lot of times I change jokes right before I go on based on the crowd, or I try to.
Really?
I try to, yeah. I saw another comedian do it, and he crushed it.
Nailed it then.
But he's like interacting with the crowd. So
yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm going to try that.
But at what point, though, I'm sorry, cut out.
No.
You're at what point have you engaged, or have you checked out the audience to realize, this is the type of audience I think I've got. So let me do a complete 180 on my material, because this is you. When do you detect that? How long are you there?
No. I don't. I can't detect the audience yet. I see other comedians do it. Mine is more like I go. Like, I don't ask the crowd how they're doing. I never do, because I'm just going to go.
Right.
I try to catch them off guard. In fact, when they...
So you're on a whim. You're getting on stage, and you immediately see this audience, and I don't want to go with this joke. I just need to go with something else. Is that what you're...
Sometimes.
Yeah?
It happens sometimes that way. There's sometimes, because I like to look in people's eyes, but they have the light in your eyes, so it's very hard to connect. I like to connect.
Okay.
So after I did my debut, they were looking for comedians for a show, like a 5-minute set. They said you're going to be doing 3-minute sets for months. Mm-hmm. And this guy was like, I've got an opening for 5 minutes at a show at a brewery. It's the end of the year show. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I sent him my 3-minute video. I was like, don't worry, I've done 5 minutes. I straight up lied. I didn't. He's a fun, great comedian. Yeah. Hope he hears this. But I straight up lied and said, I've done 5 minutes. I can do 5 minutes. It was my second time, and I get there, and I get in front of the brewery. I walk right past it. I see how many chairs are in there. It was a big-ass room full of chairs, and I walk right past it and just keep walking. And it's fucking cold. I don't have a jacket on. And I'm like, what am I doing? That's a big room. I don't have any material for 5 minutes. I don't have 5 minutes of material. I was on the drive there, and I was just like talking to myself, and I was like, that's going to land. And all of a sudden, you're like, you see the audience, and you go, that's not going to work. I see one person wearing like a plaid shirt, and I'm like, I can't make jokes of country people in plaid shirts. He's not going to like that. Like, I see one person. So if anything, sometimes I'll see things, and I'm like, they're not going to like that. What ended up happening was I chugged like 2 beers, and I grabbed the stool and I sit. And the people have made fun of me. They're like, a sitting comedian? Like, why do you do that? And I'm like, I just want to connect with the audience. Mm-hmm. And so I just started talking with the audience and saying jokes. And it went well. It didn't knock anybody, but it went well. Mm-hmm. And it was my second time, and it was great. This guy, I was interacting with the guy in the crowd, and I have this like stupid thing that I said. It was like, I don't like small talk. I usually just like to dive right in and make it as awkward as possible. And so I looked at this guy in the crowd and I said, how often do you masturbate in a day? My record's 4. And he goes 3. And I looked at his hands, he had these giant hands. I was like, after 3, that's called assault. And I was like, damn, that was good. And I even paused, and I was like, I got to keep going, crap. And then his girlfriend laughed, and they laughed. And I thought, there's a pause.
Yeah.
And it was great. And it was just interacting with the crowd. And I thought that was excellent.
You're bringing up a good point, too, because a lot of it's also timing, because you do have to take into consideration that there is going to be the pause for the reaction.
Yeah.
That's, to me, that's a given, right? You're building your set knowing that you deliver the punchline. There's got to be.
Oh, you're right. You're right, but I never. The problem is when people were giving me 5 minutes, it was tough to do a 3-minute set because I not to put jokes in, but because my stories ran long, I had to cut it down.
I got you.
And so my first time, the first one that you see, there's not a lot of pauses. There should have been. It could be a lot better, even now. And
is that where you go? Please tell the audience. You look out the audience. Please hold your applause to the end of the presentation.
Yes, that'd be nice. Please send me an email and tell me you thought I was funny.
Yeah, there.
On a scale of 1 to 2.
Yeah, just text me a thumbs up.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead and clap. But it's funny because that's the thing that comes with the experience. And I came in really cocky, not like cocky, but confident. I was like, I'm gonna blow this out of the water because I'm naturally can just like we're having this casual. This is what it feels like on stage. I'm not even joking.
Good.
This is what it feels like. The problem is, the other comedians would they say you need experience on stage, and I agree with that 100%. Like I take everything that they say into consideration, but the pauses were one. They're like almost so enjoyable that you can say a joke and you wait. And I've seen people wait on a joke and laughs don't come, and so like I want to get in through it as fast as I can. But now the pauses are coming better. But it's an art form, and that's why these people with more experience are you can tell the difference between me and someone that's really experienced, like very much.
Okay.
But as far as confidence is concerned, like I said, I can work a room. I say shit sometimes that's not even like funny or I ruin it, but like the way I look at the crowd and I'm like and it's being able to work a room.
Is your content generally driven on what's trending socially, politics or whatever, new pop culture stuff? Okay.
If it comes up, sometimes like.
So I guess your jokes more current?
They could be, yeah. Well, I mean, I say current. Golly, sometimes I write this stuff down, sometimes I don't.
Okay.
I just kind of run with it. I have a lot more like if you saw my notebook, it's more like reactions to what people could say because I was so nervous about getting heckled. I was like, if somebody says this, here's my response, as more so than it is the joke itself.
I mean, that makes sense though.
It was, and
are your jokes in a flow chart mode where if reaction, then and
it is.
If yes, this. If no, that.
It is kind of actually. It is very much that. It is very much a flow chart where I have. I had my girlfriend one time for like an hour. I was like, say a name, and then I'm gonna give a reaction to that name. And so now if I get stuck somewhere, I can be like, hey, what's your name? And she's like, hey, my name is Christopher. And I can be like, oh shit, you're a grown man that goes by Christopher. That's crazy. Right? Yeah. So I can do that because I have it in my notebook as far as like how I can respond, because building the content is not the problem. I honestly like have so much, and I'm just learning different ways to convey that message, and then I'm learning how to pause it and fine tune those. It's the heckling thing, but I haven't been heckled. The one thing that I got was. As I was at Go Bananas in Cincinnati doing their thing, and I was talking about running out of a room. I was running out of an apartment, this girl's apartment, and this woman who was like 60, she was like 60 years old, and she sits there and she looks up, she goes, "Were you naked?" And she asked me if I was naked on stage. I just like paused and looked at her, and she like looked down because she knew she wasn't supposed to talk, like interrupt. And the crowd loved it because I walked over to her slowly, and I said, "Excuse me." I said, "Can look at me?" She looks up, and I was like, "I was not," and that was it. Like it wasn't even a joke. It was just the awkwardness.
But exactly,
yeah.
And I'm sure that the reaction in the room was.
It was everybody enjoyed it because here I'm putting her on the spot. But but it was cool because we built that.
Yeah,
her and I did.
Exactly. And the payoff was. I was not.
I was not. That was it. It's not even like a punch,
exactly.
Right? But that's what you learn from experience, and that's where
I like that.
That's where the comics have been. I say the comics, but the comics are the community here is fantastic. Everybody's so supportive. Like there's I'm still young enough in this community that I haven't like gotten to the politics of it yet, of where people are like, I don't like this person and this type of thing. And I know that stuff comes, but as it sits right now, man, I'm very happy with like the mentoring that goes on here, especially for like if somebody bombs, people bomb all the fucking time. And the first thing that people say off stage, they're like, "You did a fucking great job." You do this, and it's like that's really supportive. A guy actually poked fun of me. This pissed me off so hard. I hope he fucking hears this. I hope he fucking hears this.
Well, if you give me his name, I'll make sure I tag him on this when I upload. Oh yeah,
we're not friends.
Well, I'll friend request him in time to tag.
I'm gonna. If I get on stage after him, he came on after me, and
local.
No, this was in Cincinnati. Go Bananas. Hopefully hear this. The problem with this is that he is a very funny comedian. He's very good. That's what's the issue. Is my problem doesn't actually lie in that. So I went to go land a joke I went to go say it, and it didn't land.
Right.
And that's when I switched gears. So I couldn't finish the joke. But he came on afterwards and poked fun at how it was historically inaccurate, which I thought was sort of ridiculous. it was funny with the way he made it up, but it wasn't what I did. It didn't. He didn't frame it the way that it was supposed to go.
Okay.
It was funny, and he poked fun at me, and he actually called me the pussy guy because I did this whole joke about I did this pussy joke, which is funny. He used it in a stand-up when he started, and he did not fucking come up to me after the show and say hi or introduce himself, and that pissed me off because I was like, I loved his comedy. I wanted to be like, dude, that was so funny, that was clever, and he didn't come say hi to me, and that's actually what pissed me off. I was so mad at that because I'm so nice and friendly, but my stand-up makes me seem like a dick, and it makes me seem really cocky and confident, but I really wanted to be like, man, that was great. I love to watch.
The truth is, I would agree. Yeah.
What?
Knowing cocky, yeah. In watching your video, yeah.
I come across as
not knowing your personality.
Yeah.
Just from that, yeah.
It seems cocky.
Yeah. I honestly did not know what to expect tonight.
No kidding.
Yeah. So, which to me would make for a good podcast because it's a shoot. That's shooting from lip. There's nothing really scripted about.
Right.
Yeah. So that's where I try to go. But
it's part of it's a performance.
Yeah.
It's the things that people think about this. A lot of people have bosses. They go to work and for the times that they don't have like good days, like I want to make the mundane so ridiculous when they come see me. I want people to come see me. Like, I'm not doing this to be like, I hope I get some laughs. I want people to want to come see me and be like, dude, he makes my day better because he makes that mundane shit and he makes it funny. He's ridiculous and he says shit that I can't say. Like I picture somebody's boss coming to them and saying, like, do you even care about this company? And them just being like, to be honest, I just want to eat ass today. Like, that's what I want to do today. I'm going to be honest with you. And the boss being like, me too. Did you see that Derek Sawyer stand up? Yeah, like, that's what I fucking want. I'm like, but I can see how it comes across as a dick.
Yeah.
But it's a performance. Yeah. It is a performance. And when he didn't say hi to me, I was so mad. I was like, fuck and shit. And that's the only problem I've ever had. It's not even a problem. He probably doesn't even know. He doesn't even know I exist.
How many comedy gigs are under your belt?
I've only been on in front of the mic 10 times.
That's it? Really?
I know everybody says that, but it's they've all been, like I said, they've all been different sets, so I've been able to use them to generate like more opportunities. I'll be in a festival in August in Sydney, Ohio. It's like the Woodstock of
For real?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I got in off of Antonio shot, came and hid in the audience, and videoed one of my sets, my third set ever. And his camera work is so good. I was sending it to like festivals and you have to audition for some of these things, and they were letting me in. And I was like, it must be because the camera work looks like fucking like Netflix, looks really good. But that was only 10 times. I know, like the look on your face is like, hold on a second. But I have a lot scheduled. But with like acting and doing them both back and forth, people were like, oh, it seems like you've been doing it more just because of what I've been doing on Facebook. Yeah. But most of it is just sharing the other comedian stuff and trying to be helpful.
Okay.
But I have a lot. I've had to turn some things down just because of acting. Acting's my first love. I love comedy, but I will do something big with comedy and acting both.
Good.
For sure. Yeah.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah?
I am.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah. Right now, as far as work, is this what you're focusing on 24/7? The comedy and acting, or what are you doing other thing?
I have when I was younger, I started a supply chain consulting firm.
Oh, okay.
And I merged that company with partners. Hiring people that are much smarter than myself to do that.
Well, the smart people do
the smart people, yeah. Yeah, right. People always say it's a smart move. So there's the one smart thing. And strictly on a consulting basis now, just let it kind of run on its own.
Okay.
And then I started another company. I have a business partner out of California. It's essentially where you can go. I hesitate to say the name just now because I've been on here just talking all sorts of shit. The company's called clinicalathlete.com. And so if you're an athlete, you can go on there and find healthcare providers in the U.S. and English-speaking countries, like to help you. So we have like a filtering system. So it's like basically a database where you go search that type of stuff. We're launching a new website that's coming out the next couple of weeks. We have a podcast, all that kind of stuff. But it's sort of the same thing where the doctors my business partner is a physical therapist. They are doing the content. They're building that. They're doing that stuff. And I'm just kind of sitting back helping with the business development side of it because my background's in business.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people know that. And it's not super interesting to talk about, like everything else that's going on. So I get up at like, golly, some days it's like I'll get up at like 3:30 or 4:30 in the morning just so I can write jokes, just so I have time to do this type of stuff.
So do you have a routine?
I do. I have a very strict routine.
But what's inspiring your jokes at that time of the morning? Is it something that you remembered from the night before, or something you dreamt?
I'll tell you this: if I could, I dream jokes.
Some pillow talk from the night before.
Yes. Well, stuff like this, like these interactions, help out so much.
Who's got better pillow talk? You or Autumn?
Oh gosh, better pillow talk. Okay. So for now, I rub her feet to sleep.
For real?
Every night. It helps. It's a good part of the routine because you'll find out.
I mean, she literally will fall asleep from you rubbing her feet.
Yeah. So we both actually toss and turn like crazy. So we had to buy 2 giant beds and put them together. So we have an entire bedroom that's one giant bed, 2 beds. So you could roll like 10 times and not fall off the bed. And we did that because we both kick. We both end up at different sides of the bed. Like we're hard sleepers. She's a professional athlete, so she's like tossing and turning and stuff. And so I'll rub.
Sounds a lot like the Exorcist.
Very much so. We're very much possessed by lack of sleep at this point. Is whatever demon that is. And so or of the 7 doors, whatever, and restless door. So I'll rub her feet every night, but like we both get up super early. We both get up at 4:30 this morning. She hops on the exercise bike. I go to the gym. I like being at the gym just because I like to clear my head. I'll write a lot of jokes on the treadmill.
Okay.
I'll actually say them out loud. So when people are like, I have my headphones on. I put headphones on. I don't play music.
Oh, really?
I just don't want people to
bother you.
But like they don't know who I am. They're just like, hey man, what's up? My name's so and so, and I love talking to people.
Right.
And so I'll stop and talk. And
but at that time you don't.
I like it. I like it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy people all the time. The problem is if I get into a groove of a joke, it's almost like that's the time that they like people jump in. But I love talking to people. I love hearing. And the other problem, I have this huge problem of just like asking people about them, and then that's not the problem. I love that, but then like I don't. That joke about being the small talk, being bad at it, I'm fucking terrible at it, and I just like always like don't know when to pull back. I'll be like, tell me about you, and they're like, oh, I'm doing this thing. Tell me more about that. Tell me about your childhood. What'd you do in 3rd grade? Who was your favorite teacher? And I just like to and I don't mean to, but I like the look on people's faces when they get to unload. It's weird because I like it when people get to have someone to vent to. That's why I like comedy so much, is because people don't have you can tell when people are like.
See, a podcaster asking those questions would be considered research. Someone that, you asking those questions, that would be probably stalking.
It's stalking. It's prodding. It's like, I'm going to be, where do you live? How big's your back seat? Can I fit in there with a blanket over me? Like weird shit like, no, I don't do that. But I
fit in a walk-in on a futon.
That's right. Do you like that? Like futons? Luckily at this point I don't have to like, I still have to date my girlfriend. I still have to like be a good boyfriend, but I don't have to like coax her.
When you're all walking.
No, we don't. No futon. But I did just get a deep freezer. It's not
for the walk-in.
No, just for the basement. We meal prep every week, so like we have this like crazy routine. Not to like.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay.
Give me a daily routine. You talk about you.
Oh gosh.
You wake up at 4 a.m. This was how many hours of sleep do you get after you've successfully rubbed her feet to the point where she sleeps?
Yeah.
She can fall asleep, which means at that moment you're still awake. How much longer is it before you fall asleep?
It can be anywhere from 10 to 11. Sometimes I'll look at the clock and it'll be 12. And in that case,
what time are you starting to rub her feet? I'm trying to get the timeline right. So she's
an hour.
Asleep
by 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock. Right. So I try to like rub her feet for an hour.
Yeah.
For
an hour?
Yeah.
It
30
takes
minutes each foot. Each foot.
Oh, you did say feet.
Yeah, 30
so
minutes.
That would be
foot.
2 because if it was only 1, you would have said foot.
That's right.
Gotcha.
30 minutes each.
I'm with you.
And until she's asleep, because she just works so fucking hard. It's the lead. I mean, she deserves that shit. I don't deserve like that shit. She would do it, but I'm like, don't you? No, can't do that. She's fucking fantastic. But so the daily routine is so if we start in the morning, like we wake up, and she'll hop on the bike, the exercise bike, and then she'll go to the gym. She works out sometimes 3 times a day. She's split it up. I mean, she's professional level. She gets paid to compete at this point. Right. And we have the coffee machine already ready to go, and we just got this biohazard coffee. It's supposed to be like the strongest coffee in the world. It's fucking insane. It's awesome. And so I'll hit at the gym and get back home and try to like answer emails and write jokes down. I have an automated text message. I was going to answer this earlier. So if I think of a joke, I put it to this text, and I have an automation that sends it to me every morning, so that I can see what I wrote the day before. And so I basically... Is that
an app or...
Yeah, it's called Do It Later.
Okay.
And so I can send text messages to other people. If I need them to do stuff tomorrow, it'll send them a text. I can schedule text messages.
Okay.
Yeah, and so if I need people to do things...
And that's for iPhone?
Android is Do It Later. It's probably for both.
Okay.
I'm the Android guy. So I'll go through those. I'll go through emails that I can do on my phone, get home, eat something light, and then more emails. I usually get in front of the computer. I like to work at coffee shops. I like to go to sit at coffee shops because I like the noise, like the kind of like, I don't like noise. I hate people chewing, but I like the seamless noise where I can kind of focus. I don't have distractions.
Right.
Then I come home, we walk the dogs a ton, with a boxer in the lab, and then we just like hang out as much as we can. If we can connect in the middle of the day, we do it. Like we connect in the middle of the day. I work from my computer, so I can work anywhere.
Right,
I can travel and just work from there. Interact with my business partners, try to get shit done, and then we try to eat our last meal together because she's at Tupperware and then so do I, and so we try to get our last meal where we can sit down and kind of hang out. We might she doesn't watch TV
at all.
Rarely.
Okay.
If rarely. The first time that she has been in front of a movie was Antonio's, was the One Must Fall. She doesn't go to theater. She won't go to movies. Not because she doesn't like him, but she's fucking busy. I mean, that girl's busy. The coolest thing that she does is like she'll walk into a room and she'll be like, she actually said this. She was like, hey, I've got this photo shoot and competition I'm going to do in Vegas. You know, the flights are paid for, everything's paid for. We're just going to go. And like almost in that same vein, I was like, I used that Groupon for the oil change. That's just, that was tough. She says way cooler shit than me, and I was like, I did it. It was expired, and I got them to use it. She says way cooler shit than me. And then I rub her feet.
But that's an accomplishment. There's some sense of satisfaction that you just won up. You won up the car dealership or whatever.
I did.
On an expired.
I got them.
Yeah.
On the expired coupon. They didn't have to.
Score.
I did. They were mom and pop though. I need to do that.
Yeah.
But it's we do a lot of everything's organized. It's not super exciting, but if I have a show, I just take off to the show.
Is it pretty anal at your home? Would I get there and just be like, good God, can you all sit the fuck down?
For Autumn, yeah, she's a machine. She's a machine, but she's also like, do you know she's an artist too?
As in draw?
Paint, draw.
No, I don't think I knew that about. No.
This is what she said. I know she'll probably be on here to tell you all about this, but this is the coolest thing. Like when I say she does cool shit and says cool shit, she said, "I'm gonna," the Arnold Sports Fest in Columbus, Ohio. Mm-hmm. So she had competed on stage twice, and then she was gonna do the art competition. And she said that she goes, "This was 6
Did she
weeks."
get a picture or something with him?
Even better.
Yeah, go ahead.
6 weeks before, she goes, "I'm gonna paint a picture of Arnold, and then I'm gonna get him to sign it, and then I'm gonna take a picture with him." It happened 3 hours of a 3-day event. Within 3 hours of her walking in the building, he walks over, was like, Arnold Schwarzenegger walks over, was like, "Wow, look at that! I got the whole thing on video." Signs it, takes a picture within 3 hours, and she was just like, nice. She does that shit all the time, which is why like I can't not be doing something, or else.
She's very inspiring.
Very,
yeah,
very inspiring. I guess she's very inspiring. So it's like, at our house, it's more like, it's very much like support all the time. It's not like you don't walk in and be like, this is like I'm trying to think of like a funny like movie where people are like, we're so like positive. It's not that shit. We're like, I'm fucking tired. I'm tired. And like, well, we gotta do this because we wanna be like, our picture of like is to be like 90 years old at a rave, dancing. And just like being fucking that's what
still having a good time.
Yeah, that's what we want to do, and to
life,
get, but we want to have like no regrets. Everything has to be, so we push everything to the max, man. And but that's why we have like such cool people like John and Antonio around. You know, it's like we can't not.
Sometimes you're only as good as the company you keep. You are the company you keep. You know,
I agree. I wish it's easier at this point. It's easier to kind of push. It's easier to like to vet and screen people that like that come in and right off the bat they're like they need some like favors and things like this. It's easier to vet those types of people because when we first started hanging out, it was very difficult to like. People were taking our time away from each other, and when you're like so like when you spend it every day with
but not intentionally though. Right.
So, some people would take intentional time away from us.
Because why? Just
people, because people like more so with Autumn. People feed off of her energy.
Okay.
A lot. I've learned. This is something that I've learned because a lot of what like the comedy that I do and a lot of what I like convey in my comedy as a performance is sort of misogynistic. For as a performance, as almost a parody of it. But what I've learned is that's not like who I am.
Right.
My thing is, especially with Autumn, is she doesn't need me to do things for her. She needs me to get the fuck out of her way,
right?
So she can do shit.
Right. She'll let you know when she needs.
Exactly. She will. Yeah. If she and she will. She manifests these things into her life like that. I'm like, I want to do that. She's like, I want a Jeep. I'm gonna work hard to make it a Jeep. She's bought a Jeep. It's a lift with these big ass tires that she's always wanted. She wanted a boxer named Pickles. We have a boxer boy named Pickles. She just does this shit.
Why Pickles?
I
want to hear from you. You don't know?
I don't know why. We were. I moved. So I left that house with the movie theater. I left that to move into her 1-bedroom apartment, and she was like, "I've always wanted a boxer named Pickles." And I was like, at that point, I was so infatuated with her that I said,
it didn't matter, did it?
I was like, you can have whatever you want. You can name that fucker nachos for all I give a shit. You can name whatever the fuck you want to, and any food you want. And so we went and we found a breeder and we got a little boxer, the little runt, and named him Pickles. And
better yet, don't ask her why. I'll ask her.
You can ask her when she goes on the show.
Exactly. Let's save it for that.
That's.
But you really don't know why. You really don't know why. That she named it Pickles.
I don't know, but I'll tell you this: when he would run out, because where we live now, everybody's retired around us,
right.
And so like they have plenty of time to stare out their window, and so
pay attention.
Pickles, he runs out, and I'm out there yelling for Pickles, get over here, Pickles, and they'll watch, and so he'll like he would like bark at me when I was in the bathroom. So I thought it'd be funny to bark at him while he was out in the yard. And so I started like yelling at him while he was taking a shit, and he loved it. So he sprinted in the neighbor's yard and shit all over the yard. And they were watching from the window because they do that. And so I'm having like a shitty Easter egg hunt, picking up all the Pickles shit in the next yard. And it's like, and I remember having a moment being like, I'm picking up shit in my neighbor's yard from my dog named Pickles. I was like, this is my life now. I love it. I love everything about it. But like, again, it's just I don't know why she named him Pickles. No idea.
We're gonna get to the bottom of it.
That's a good question. I might go ask her that.
No, you can't.
Years.
No, you're not allowed to.
I have to prepare her.
No.
You've been prodding me all night. Like I didn't want to.
You're gonna that shit's gonna noodle in your head until after we get the answer on this podcast. What's up with the social dragon? What's that all about? Why the social dragon?
It was
cool name.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It was it would have been like 10 years ago. I've always been a social butterfly, you know.
I can tell.
Yeah, I like
I like that. I do. Have you met a stranger? You're not this type that.
No. Guys tend to be really standoffish with me.
Intimidation. Is it?
No, I just look like a douche. You know, I look like a douchebag. I get that. Like I try not to. Like,
but you know what? You're my douche.
Thank you. No, here we go. I like that. I like to think I'm everybody's douche, like in some sense. But it's funny that standoffish is what I've seen, but it's not because of intimidation. I have a look that
you do have a look, but you also have you do if first impression you have a look that's very confident.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
maybe.
Good.
Probably, I'm going to say maybe a little bit probably cocky is maybe that. Now, once I got to know you, it's confident. But, I mean, what is it? If you're out at the bar with your friends and someone some dude is standing next to you that you don't know and hears you, knowing you the way you know you are speaking to your friends, what is their impression of you?
That's tough. I don't know. That's tough. If it's, I don't know.
Or are you one that because of you like obviously you like comedy?
Yes.
You like always just telling jokes, being the guy who wants to make other people laugh, and is that how you?
Because it's usually when people find out I'm a comedian that they say, or that I'm a comedian that they say, "Tell me a joke."
Yeah.
It's more so that people.
But is that your personality though? I mean,
I'm not a joke teller.
Okay.
Honestly, it's
a one-line guy, a lot of one-lines.
Not at all. I like telling stories.
You're not in the back of your head. You're not trying to say things that's gonna get a reaction.
Oh, that's yes. Okay, that. But the reaction is more to, like I said, like I want people to open up and tell me things. But it's funny because Autumn will see this. You give me 10 seconds with somebody, and it comes out like a faucet. People just start like telling me all sorts of shit because they feel comfortable. I have a cool presence. I've got a very cool, chill presence. Once we start talking, I talk with my hands a lot, and I like to I don't as much anymore, but I like to I'm like, hey man, everything's gonna be cool. I don't try to get in people's space anymore. But it's more so that they if I can talk to you for a few seconds, you'll know that I'll ask you about you. And I had a guy come up to me one time at the gym, and he was like, hey, do you like your car? I was like, I do. And he goes, well, I've got a boat. And he asked me that so that he could tell me about his shit. And I try not to do that. If you...
For the record, those people annoy me. Because that's an agenda. They have an agenda. That they want to get something. They want it to be about them.
I get that. I get that more than anything because... I get that more than anything. I get more the one-upping more off the bat. But I think it's because of that that douchebag look that I have, that they're like, I'm cooler than you, and I'll tell you, you probably are. You probably are a lot cooler than me. You're probably a lot cooler than you know, and it sounds weird.
But you don't give a fuck.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I love that. No, I want people like human beings have such I think we're all equally, because I don't think I'm special, but I think we're all none of us are special.
Well, but okay, fair. But you do have, I think every one of us have some type of gift or talent.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But the problem is, nobody ever asked. From what I see from a lot of people, nobody ever asked them, what makes them happy. And so, what do people do on the day to day? They grind it out at the job. They do a lot of grinding stuff. So nobody ever asked them that. And so when you can ask that question, it really throws people off. Mm-hmm. And so the reason why I like it when people try to do to get that out there, because then they'll start talking, and then I kind of get to know that person. I want people to leave a conversation with me and feel like, man, I feel better for having talked to Derek. I feel better about myself for having talked to Derek, and then maybe they didn't know as much about me, because I don't even now everything I'm doing is kind of being funny and trying to be charming, when ultimately if we leave the conversation.
Are you saying you're not being yourself right now? You don't think you are? Or you're not?
This is me naturally, but
okay.
but there's also this thing where it's is it? I don't want to be too much, for people, to where they're like, you took that opportunity to get to know each other, and you took it away. I took it away.
But your intention, if you ever are too much, it's not because you're trying to steal the spotlight of the.
I would be scared to do that. That's a fear I have, is to be I don't want to be not that I'm going to steal somebody's, but that it's would appear that way. Mm-hmm. I don't want that.
One of my favorite comedians, and he's kind of actually he'll acknowledge it. He's a dick when he does his stuff. Anthony Jeselnik.
No,
You're not familiar with him?
I don't watch a lot of like.
Look him up.
Big
Anthony. He had this special. It's called Thoughts and Prayers. Look it up. It's on it's on Netflix right now.
Oh shit! Okay.
But his is it's kind of dark.
Okay.
You'll want to, and I'm going to paraphrase a joke. This is kind of his joke. He's one of those guys on Twitter, social media, whenever there's some type of a tragedy. Like in Colorado, I think it was Aurora, Colorado, the shooting at the movie theater. Remember that?
Yep.
It was Batman.
Yep.
His tweet was, other than the shooting, how was the movie?
No shit.
I thought, see, to me, that's a lot of people were offended by that. I thought, as a comedian, his intent is not ill will to try to, but
it's not ill will. However, I'll say this, and this has come from someone that says pussy jokes a lot. There's like a clever way to approach these things, and not like Dave Chappelle. I watch Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle can circle back to something. He'll build it up, and you'll be like, "Dude, that's fucked up." But when he circles back, he's a genius. Like he's very. When people do things like that, do that. Those are especially with Twitter. It's I'm not on Twitter. The thing is like it's you only have so much room to make a joke. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't seem clever. It seems like sort of like I'm gonna take this shot. I have a different like point of view on those types of things, but I think it's well
you're telling actually in this scenario you're giving me who you are when it comes to that. You know, it's a type of comedian that you're
well those things are very like it doesn't have to be that. Like, how much do you have going on in your world where you have 360 degrees to choose from, and you fucking take that shot? I would have honestly, I would have smacked him in his fucking face. I would have fucking hit him in his face because that's fucked up, man. Somebody's family, like, if that went viral, and it probably did, people see that shit, and
well, his response, because someone asked him, his response was, "I'm pretty safe. It's probably pretty safe to say that none of the victims were on social media that day." That was his, and he's still in joke mode. I get that. And where I'm going with this too is there jokes that are off limits? And it sounds like to you, in this case, yes.
If it's gonna be so here's, and again, people have different I'll tell you this, I'm wrong a lot, and I'm open to being wrong.
You're not wrong if there's not a science behind it, it's strictly a view and opinion. You're not wrong. I mean,
that's my preface going into the explanation. Okay. Is that I'm wrong often, and my point of view changes, especially if my point of view can change, especially if I'm like, wow, I didn't think of it that way. Mm-hmm. That's not necessarily me. I'm very skeptical. You're not going to sway me easily with things that aren't facts. But since we're talking about an opinion. If the goal is to, if somebody points at someone in the crowd and says, "Oh, you're a trans person and that's bad and you're a shitty person," that's not comedy.
No, I agree.
That's a shitty thing to do.
Yeah.
And to point at like a tragedy and say like, that's not a parody of that situation. Mm-hmm. I enjoy the idea of a parody,
right?
Like parodying things like.
But that's your humor. Your comedy does not go. There are certain lines that you won't cross. Is that safe to say?
I don't know if I would call them lines. Okay. I would say as long as I present them in a way that's still in the realm of, it's a parody.
But is in that particular joke, and I'm trying to understand the comedy mind. Was he crossing the line? Your opinion?
My knee-jerk reaction. Again, my knee-jerk reaction would be to hit him in the face because that's my emotional reaction. Yeah. Emotional reactions aren't usually the best way to go. Like I say that maybe because. Well,
I've always heard with the comedians that no jokes are off limits. If if it's said the right way, everything could be turned into a joke. And that's a lot where if you go back, if you look at him and you research it or whatever, watch it. That's kind of his premise, is that you can tell a joke about anything. It's a certain way to do it.
That would be, yeah. But if I think...
Now, this is a guy who, he's done the roast on Comedy Central too. Yeah, and all that. So that's kind of gives you an idea on his... Everybody's
going to be offended about something. I just think that I'm allowed... Here's the thing. Here's a great way to frame this. If you're going to put something out there into the world, you don't get a safe space box to collapse into. People use comedy as a shield. If you remember Jon Stewart?
Mm-hmm.
So he would go into political debates, and then he would say, but I'm a comedian.
Right.
And so the show that preceded him was puppets making crank phone calls.
Right. Okay.
And so he was like, if you're looking to me for your political debates and discourse, then you're doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And he would go, and that was his shield to do that. And so a lot of times people can use comedy as a shield to say, I'm just a comedian. That doesn't give you a right to be a fucking idiot. It doesn't give you a right to...
No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So I would say that it can be used as a shield, but that's more of you can't come up with anything better, and that's what you're going to fall back on. I think that's more embarrassing and tell on his intellect than anything else. I would say that's a stupid joke.
No, that's fair. When I first heard that joke, and I think before I heard the joke, I had heard of the joke, and I heard him discuss, the premise of being able to say it, joke about something that's horrific or some tragedy event. So when I actually then I heard the joke, it didn't. I guess maybe I was already. I wasn't offended because I knew of the joke beforehand, so that shock value wasn't there. Now there was one where the Boston bomb, whatever. He made on Twitter. This is all part of his stick, where he said something along the lines, "I'm not going to talk about it, other than the fact that some lines are just not meant to be crossed today." The finish line. So, and I was like, it's dark, but it's...
It is, because one of the things that gives us the ability to give that a pass is the fact that we can just scroll past it with social media.
You can.
We can scroll past these things. Mm-hmm. Here's the difference. My ex-girlfriend was in that, and her leg got shrapnel, and they had to take her leg off.
Are you saying? Were you serious?
Yep. And she's... people died in that, man. And
obviously, clearly, if someone has it's some involvement in that, that's going to hit.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough. But I still think I still think ultimately, like, think about like what we used to call tragedies. Remember Othello? Othello, tragedy, right? And yeah, Othello's a tragedy. But to call the Boston bombing a tragedy is short-sighted. That was terrorist attack. That's a difference. Tragedy and terrorism, I think, are two things that are like, those are very different. So I would approach those very differently. And I would say that I could be biased just because I know that person. Mm-hmm. That person's she's now a motivational speaker, and she's like inspiring. But there's some people that don't have a voice now. They can't say that, and they would probably say that that's So I don't. There could be some jokes that I say that people might find offensive, but not cruel. Mm-hmm. But not cruel.
So there is. You do have. I use the line, but there are some lines you won't.
Okay. Yes, I'll say this. There are lines that I won't cross, but again, there's 360 degrees of material that I can use.
Absolutely.
I haven't even had a clean set yet. I can't fathom doing a clean set because it's not fun for me yet. But it's there, and if I just don't have the experience or the intelligence to be able to do that, maybe it's a writer's block thing. To write a clean set's tough. So some people might maybe able to argument that like I'm only living off of my experiences, but that comic that you referenced did not live those experiences that I know of.
I can't say for sure. I don't think so.
Okay. those are. So yeah, there's
what you're saying.
Yeah, there's definitely some lines that I won't cross.
Yeah. See, this was good because I got to see. Man, I got to see a little bit of a serious side, man. I like that.
I like to be, yeah. Well, I pride myself
From a
on
podcast perspective. That was good stuff right there.
Okay.
Because you, just saying.
I like to be.
I saw the
composers.
I saw Derek there.
Oh, that's more of like. If there's one, actually, Antonio will tell you this. I'm very. He actually made a post about it just randomly. It's funny that he's got a premiere coming out, and he's like took the time just to make a nice post about it. But he was
That's
like,
who he is, though.
Right? And it's that, and I'm not like, and I'm not famous by any means. I'm popular in my circle of what I'm doing now. Definitely not the most popular, but I always find it. Like if Bradley Cooper came up to me and was like, "Hey, you want to hear about my politics?" I'm like, "Fuck no, just keep curating. I don't give a shit about your politics." And so, like when I say this, it's like this isn't for the sense that I think anybody actually necessarily cares about this piece or this component of my life, but like I said, I want to treat people well, and I want them to leave the conversation feeling good. But if like I see an injustice happen and it's blatant, like I'll fucking go off. Like I've fought professionally for 10 years. Like I can fuck somebody up. I'm like 260, man. And so like
you don't need a fucking cape, do you?
I don't need a cape. I don't. You know what? Capes aren't very slimming for me, so that'd be trouble. But the point of that is that this is me, like a happy lucky guy. But there's a happy medium, and I don't think.
Go on and say it. You want to say it. We wouldn't like you when you're.
You wouldn't like me when I'm not as composed. Just doesn't sound as sexy as when I'm angry. Man, I'll tell you this: you're very easy to talk to. I think you do such a good job on this.
I appreciate it because you know what, you're going to be good. God, what the hell is all that? Look at this. Yeah, next up, but okay. I'm winding this down, but we got a plan to do it again because I just think with you're the type of guy, and I'm gonna get to know you better. I would like to hang out. I'm serious. I would like to go out and hang out sometime and shoot the shit, music, whatever.
Okay.
We're just I don't know, be around a star. But no, my thing is that we touched the surface. I think you're one of those guys who can come on here and we can just say, this is some of the shit that's been happening in the news or whatever. And we can just shoot it, man. That's how I get. And to me, that's the podcast that I want to make, is just this free flowing to almost unscripted.
Hell yeah.
So here's the thing too, real quick. And I'm getting this. By the time this comes out, I will have already addressed this with Antonio. I had reached out to Jordan today.
Okay.
And I said, in late 2017, I hosted a roast for a musician here. Actually, it was here on a Sunday. It went over great. It was like a roast on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
To the point where a lot of people loved it. Some people told me after the fact, don't do that again. Because there were some egos a little hurt because they
got roasted.
Yeah, they got roasted, and some of those didn't get the memo that were what some things should have been off limits.
Yeah.
So I have had people wanting me to do one of those again, and I thought, I was initially thinking, well, music-wise, I'm getting word from people I trust not to do musicians. And then this morning I'm going through some shit and it just hit me. A celebrity roast of Antonio Pantoja. Jordan, would Antonio be okay if we set up a roast of him? And she thought we could pull it off. She thought he would be receptive to it. And where you're going to be involved, you're a comedian, so yeah. I think. And here's the thing: he writes his own material, and he writes comedy too.
Yeah.
And I think we could pull it off. I think it would go well.
What would you say
I
about
don't,
Antonio?
well, I don't know. Well, that's
You're so fucking nice that
I don't know.
That's tough.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, obviously, with you guys, it'd be a little different because it'd be more in good taste. But you have to. I just think between his little clique,
Yeah.
there's some good comedy that could be.
Oh yeah.
So
For sure.
I need you involved.
Okay,
we get
for sure.
him, and so with every roast, he identifies the dais. Who's the roaster?
The roast master.
Yeah, and the roast master too.
Yep.
We come up with all that. So I'm just saying, I want to do this. I said something. She said yes, go for it. Let's definitely talk to him. I think he's a well-known celebrity in town,
Yeah.
which I think we can pull it off with his. It doesn't have to be brutal,
Right. No,
I mean,
it could be all
okay.
good fun. Yeah.
The Anthony, nothing that dark, but I just think this is where maybe, yeah, you're right. With it, what can you say, about him? Well,
It would almost work so well because they would have to be like a parody. Like, I'll tell you, okay, I have some shit. Definitely. When I definitely have some things, but they would be in good taste too. It would have to be because,
because keep in mind, he, however many people on the day is roasters, they all come up just like on Comedy Central. They'll take their one line shots at each other, and then they shoot at the roastee, and then he'll come up
and roast.
Yeah, I want to do that, and I think in the timeline I want to do this is late summer, like at the end of August or early September is where I'm targeting. So
You can do it here?
that's the goal, is to do
That would
it here.
be, oh yeah, that would be
Down there where the stage. That's where we did it, and we had on a Sunday where they're closed. We had in excess of 200 people here. We gave that was a fucking badass business day for them.
Dude,
I mean, it
holy
was
shit.
for a musician. It was brutal. It was so brutal.
You almost
Because
have to.
this guy, he's okay with it. He's a young musician who had just was going through divorce, drug habits.
Oh, no.
And his parents were. It was just insane. But people were dying. It won't be that over the top with Antonio, but that's where, you comedy guys gonna just have to bring it. Bring
Yeah,
something. Put your gift to use, man, and make it funny. That I think it would be cool. And here's what I'm thinking is that, if we do a door like a cover, half the proceeds will go to whatever charity he says it'll go to.
That's a good. I'm all in favor of that. Fucking making fun of people for charity.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Game on.
Exactly. So
I'll fucking make fun of everybody for charity.
we'll talk to him and make it happen. But Derek, thanks for hanging out with me.
Are you kidding me? Thank
we got
you
to do
so
it again,
much.
man.
Dude, yes, thank you so
I'm
much.
got to reach out to
Autumn.
and get her on, because that sounds like she's
She's a celebrity. She's actually very popular.
Yeah.
Way more, like
So,
national.
I don't even know if we're friends, but I know of her.
Right.
So yeah, we'll do it.
She's awesome.
I'll pin you down and we'll do it again too.
Definitely.
All right.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Jeff.
you, man.